I don't tolerate incompetence in my company. My boss, Gregory, says it loud enough for the entire office to hear. My throat tightens as every head turns toward me. The silence in the room is heavy and cold. You have been underperforming for months, Adeline. Pack your things and leave immediately. I blink, feeling completely stunned. That is not true, Gregory. The Henderson account is ahead of schedule, and He cuts me off with a cold, sharp smile that does not reach his eyes. The Henderson account was a total mess. You are done here. My chest burns as whispers ripple around the desks. I can see my coworkers looking away, too afraid to speak up or make eye contact. I nod once, my jaw set tight. I grab my bag and my personal laptop from my desk. I walk out of the glass doors without looking back. What he does not know is that the mess he just blamed on me was never my mistake. I was the one who spent every night for the last 3 months fixing the errors he made. He just fired the only person who was keeping his reputation alive in front of the clients. I sit in my car in the parking lot, my hands trembling on the steering wheel. 5 years of hard work vanished in exactly 5 minutes. There was no warning, no performance review, and no private conversation to help me improve. It was just public humiliation designed to make him look like a strong leader in front of everyone. I replay every late night in my head while staring at the office building. I remember the weekends I spent in the office while my friends were out having fun. I remember every time I quietly corrected a document he had messed up so the clients would not see his mistakes. For the first time in a long time, I feel something shift deep inside me. It is not sadness or the urge to cry like a victim. It is a sharp, cold clarity that fills my mind. I realize that I have been a shield for a man who does not even know how to use his own business software. He thinks he is a genius, but he is just a loud man in an expensive suit. I put the car in gear and drive away forever. When I get home, I open my laptop and sit at the kitchen table. I need to see the proof for myself one last time to be sure. I look through my personal backups of the Henderson account files. Every single issue, every delay, and every missed deadline is traced back to Gregory's specific decisions. I found the emails where I warned him about the budget overruns. I found the records of him rushing approvals without reading the fine print. I did not fail at all during my time there. I actually performed a miracle by keeping that account from falling apart months ago. I covered for him because I thought that was what a good employee was supposed to do for their boss. I thought if I made him look good, the whole company would benefit from the success. I was wrong about that. I was just feeding his ego and giving him a target to blame when things got difficult. I closed the laptop and leaned back in my chair. I am not incompetent. I am the most capable person in that building, and he will find out soon. An email pings on my phone later that afternoon while I am drinking tea. It is from a former client I worked with last year on a big project. Heard you left Cole Consulting, Adeline. It reads, "To be honest, we always preferred working with you directly instead of the management. Gregory is difficult to deal with. Are you available for independent consulting? We have a new project starting next month." I stare at the screen for a long time. I did not think anyone noticed how much work I did behind the scenes. I thought everyone believed Gregory was the mastermind behind the success. But this email proves that people see more than he thinks they do. My heart starts to beat faster with excitement. I realize that I do not need a boss to tell me what to do. I have the skills, I have the connections, and I have the trust of the people who actually pay the bills. I type back a professional response, telling them I am indeed available and would love to discuss the project. This is the start of my new life. The next week is a blur of activity as I set up my new life. I registered my own consulting firm, Brooks & Associates. I reached out to 3 other clients I had a great relationship with over the years. To my surprise, all of them are interested in working with me right away. They tell me stories of Gregory being rude, late to meetings, and confused about basic project details. It turns out that I was the only thing keeping those relationships together for all those years. Without me there to translate his nonsense into real results, the clients were getting very frustrated. One client tells me, "Gregory is a great salesman, but he has no idea how to deliver a finished product. We stayed with him because of you." It is a huge boost to my confidence. I am realizing that Gregory did not just fire an employee. He fired his entire support system. He thinks he is the star of the show, but he is just the guy holding the microphone. I am the one who writes the script and builds the stage for everyone else. Meanwhile, things at Cole Consulting are starting to fall apart very quickly. I still have a few friends in the office who send me updates about the chaos. They tell me that Gregory is panicking every single day. The Henderson account, the one he blamed me for, has hit a major wall that he cannot climb. Apparently, Gregory tried to handle a high-level meeting by himself and completely embarrassed the company. He could not answer basic questions about the data, and he promised things that the company literally cannot do. He is looking for someone to blame, but there is no one left to point the finger at anymore. My friends tell me he is staying late and screaming at the junior staff who do not know how to help him. He is trying to find the fix I had planned in my notes, but I took my notes and my strategy with me when I left. He thought my incompetence was the problem, but now he is realizing that his own incompetence is the real issue. The clients are starting to pull their funding and look for other options. 2 weeks later, I am sitting in my new small office space when my phone rings. I do not recognize the number, but it is a local area code that looks familiar. I answer it professionally. Adeline Brooks speaking. There is a long silence on the other end of the line that feels like forever. I can hear heavy breathing and the sound of someone pacing on a wooden floor in a quiet room. Finally, a voice speaks, and I feel a chill go down my spine. It is Gregory Cole. Adeline, he says, his voice sounding tight and very strained. We need to talk about some things. I lean back in my chair and smile at the ceiling because I knew this would happen. I'm sorry, Mr. Cole. I am quite busy with my new clients and my new business. Is there something I can help you with? He clears his throat, and I can tell it is killing his pride to ask me for anything. The Henderson account is experiencing some technical delays. The client is asking for the specific datasets you were working on before you left. Gregory's tone changes as the conversation goes on. He tries to sound like he is still the boss of me. Look, Adeline, I might have been a bit hasty with your termination. We were all under a lot of stress that day. If you just send me those files, I can offer you a small severance package as a gesture of goodwill. I shake my head, even though he cannot see me through the phone. I do not want a severance package, Gregory. I want to be left alone to run my business and my life. Those files are my intellectual property now. I created them on my own time because you refused to give me the resources I needed back then. He lets out a frustrated groan that sounds like a growl. The Henderson client is threatening to sue us for millions. They said if we do not have the results by Friday, they are pulling the contract and taking it to a competitor. I pause for a second to let the silence sit there. Well, that sounds like a major problem for Cole Consulting. But since I am incompetent, I'm sure you can figure it out. The next day, the Henderson Group, the actual client, reaches out to me directly without talking to Gregory. Their CEO, a man named Mr. Henderson, calls me on my cell phone. He sounds very serious and professional. Adeline, I just had a meeting with Gregory Cole. It was an absolute disaster. He has no idea what is going on with our project. He told me you were fired for incompetence, but I've been looking at the reports from the last 6 months. The only good parts were written by you. I thank him for his honesty and for calling me. He continues, we are terminating our contract with Cole Consulting today because we do not trust them. But we still need the project finished. We heard you started your own firm. We would like to hire Brooks and Associates to take over the entire account. We want you to be our lead consultant. I am stunned by the news. The Henderson account is a multi-million-dollar contract. It would make my new firm successful overnight. I would be honored, Mr. Henderson. But there is one condition. I will need full access to all the data. I received an email an hour later from Gregory. This time, there is no bossy attitude or mean words. He is begging for his life. Adeline, the Henderson Group told us they are moving the account to you. They said we have to hand over everything or they will sue for breach of contract. Please, if you do this, I will pay you a massive consulting fee. Just help me save face with the board of directors so I don't lose my job. I read the email 3 times to enjoy the moment. He is terrified of the consequences. His entire company depends on the Henderson account, and I am the only one who can save it now. I decided to play it smart and be professional. I do not reply immediately to his desperate message. I let him sweat for a few more hours while I work on other things. I want him to feel exactly what I felt when he humiliated me in front of the whole office. I want him to realize that power isn't about who screams the loudest at people. I finally typed back a short message. Meet me tomorrow at 9 a.m. At exactly 9 a.m. the next morning, Gregory Cole walks into my new office. He looks terrible compared to his old self. His suit is wrinkled, he has dark circles under his eyes, and his hands are shaking as he holds a briefcase. He looks around my modest office space with a look of pure disbelief. "You did all this in 2 weeks," he asks. I sit behind my desk and gesture for him to sit down in the guest chair. "I did not have to spend any time fixing your mistakes, so I had plenty of free time, Gregory." He flinches, but does not argue with me this time. He places a thick folder on my desk with a heavy thud. "Here are the Henderson files. All of them. And here are the legal documents transferring the project oversight to Brooks and Associates." I open the folder and skim the documents carefully with my eyes. I am looking for any tricks or hidden clauses that might hurt me. Gregory watches me, his face pale and sweating. "I need you to sign a non-disclosure agreement regarding the errors found in my work," he says. I push the non-disclosure agreement back toward him across the desk. "I am not signing that, Gregory. I will not go out of my way to ruin you, but I am not going to lie for you either. If the board of directors asks me what happened, I will tell the truth. I am a professional, and professionals do not cover up failures or lies." Gregory looks like he wants to cry right there. He realizes that he has no leverage left to use against me. He signs the transfer papers with a shaky hand that barely holds the pen. The Henderson Group is expecting a progress report by 5 p.m. today. If they do not get it, the whole thing is dead. I take the papers and stand up to show him the meeting is over. "They will get it, Gregory. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a real company to run and work to do. You can see yourself out the door." He stands up slowly and walks toward the door like a defeated man. Just before he leaves, he turns back to look at me. "Why didn't you tell me you were this good?" I spend the rest of the day working like a machine to save the project. I dive into the Henderson files and realize the situation is even worse than I thought. Gregory had not just made mistakes, he had ignored legal requirements and safety protocols to save money for himself. If the project had continued under his lead, it would have been a total disaster for the client. I stay until midnight in my office, rebuilding the entire strategy from the ground up. I send the progress report to Mr. Henderson at 1 a.m. so it is ready for him in the morning. 5 minutes later, my phone pings with a notification. It is an email from him already. "Incredible work, Adeline. This is exactly what we were looking for. We finally feel like this project is in safe hands again. Let's meet tomorrow to discuss a long-term partnership." I lean back in my chair and I take a deep breath of relief. I am exhausted, but I feel amazing. I just saved a multi-million-dollar project that my former boss nearly destroyed with his ego. I am a leader now. Over the next month, Brooks and Associates grows faster than I ever dreamed possible. More and more of Gregory's former clients start calling my office. They have heard about the Henderson turnaround, and they want the same results for their own businesses. I have to hire 3 new employees just to keep up with the workload every day. I make sure to treat them with the respect I never received from Gregory. I listen to their ideas, I give them credit for their work, and I never, ever scream at them in front of the office. I am building the kind of company I always wanted to work for. Meanwhile, Cole Consulting is in a tailspin that will not stop. With the loss of the Henderson account and several other major clients, they are facing a financial crisis. Gregory is forced to sell his expensive car and move into a much smaller office to save money. He is becoming a cautionary tale in the industry. People are finally seeing the man behind the curtain, and they do not like what they see at all. Justice is finally being served. One morning, a junior associate from Cole Consulting, one of the few who has not quit yet, reaches out to me privately. She is a talented girl named Maria who I used to mentor. "Adeline, the board of directors is meeting today. They are discussing whether to fire Gregory and dissolve the entire company. He is blaming everyone but himself for the failure. He's even telling them that you stole the Henderson account through illegal means. I shake my head at the news. He is still playing the same old games even now. Even when he is at the bottom, he is trying to pull others down with him to save his skin. I decided that I cannot let him lie about me to the board of directors. I have the emails, I have the contracts, and I have the support of the clients. I called the chairman of the board at Cole Consulting. Sir, I understand you are meeting today regarding Gregory Cole. I have some information that might be relevant to your decision. I am sending over a digital file with the full history of the project. 2 hours later, I got a call back from the chairman of the board. He sounds exhausted and very angry. Adeline, we just finished reviewing your files. We are horrified by what we found. We had no idea Gregory was putting the company and the clients at such risk for so long. We want to thank you for coming forward with the truth. We have made a decision. He tells me that the board has voted unanimously to fire Gregory Cole for cause, effective immediately. They are not dissolving the company, however. They want to reorganize and fix the damage. We were wondering, the chairman says, if Brooks and Associates would be interested in a merger. We have the infrastructure, and you have the leadership and the client trust. We could create the most powerful firm in the city. I am caught off guard by the offer. I never thought about a merger when I started. I like my independence and my small team. But I also think about Maria and the other good people still working there who need a good leader to help them. The news of Gregory's firing spreads through the industry like wildfire on a dry day. He is officially banned from the board and has been stripped of all his shares in the company. He is no longer the king of consulting he thought he was. He is just a man who lost everything because of his own arrogance and pride. I feel a strange sense of closure in my heart. The man who tried to destroy my career ended up destroying his own instead. I meet with the board of Cole Consulting the following week to talk about the merger. We spend 3 days negotiating the terms of the deal. In the end, they agree to every one of my conditions because they need me. The new firm will be called Brooks Consulting, and I am the CEO with total control. I am the one who gets to decide who stays and who goes. I walk back into my old office building, but this time, the security guard salutes me. I walk into the boardroom where Gregory once yelled at me, and I take the seat at the head of the table. The first thing I do as the new CEO is call an all-hands meeting for the staff. I stand in the middle of the office, in the same spot where Gregory once humiliated me in front of everyone. Every head turns toward me, but this time, there is no fear in their eyes. There is hope and excitement. I know the last few months have been very difficult for everyone, I tell them. I know you were told that incompetence was the problem here, but I am here to tell you that the leadership was the real problem. That changes today. We are going to be a company built on skill, honesty, and mutual respect for everyone. If you do your job well, you will be recognized and rewarded. If you make a mistake, we will fix it together as a team. The office erupts into loud applause and cheers. I see Maria smiling in the front row, and I feel a lump in my throat from the emotion. I am back where I started, but everything is different now. I am the woman who runs the show. A few months later, I am walking through a park on a Saturday afternoon when I see a man sitting on a bench. He is wearing a worn-out jacket and looking at an old newspaper. It is Gregory Cole. He looks even older than the last time I saw him in my office. I hesitate for a second, then I walk over to him to say something. Hello, Gregory. How are you? He looks up, and for a moment, I see the old spark of arrogance in his eyes, but it fades quickly into sadness. Adeline, I heard the merger was a huge success. Brooks Consulting is the talk of the town. I sit down on the other end of the bench to talk for a moment. It's going well, Gregory. We just signed 2 more international accounts this week. He nods slowly and looks back at his paper. I'm looking for work, you know. But no one will hire me for anything. They say I'm too controversial for their brands. I look at him and feel a pang of pity for a man who lost his way. I realize in that moment that Gregory will never truly change his heart. He still thinks he is a victim of bad luck instead of his own bad actions. He still thinks he is too good for the real work that needs to be done. I stand up and smooth out my coat to leave. I wish you the best, Gregory. I really do. But I have to go now. I have a meeting with the Henderson group. He looks at me, and I see a flicker of something that might be regret, but it's hard to tell for sure. Adeline, he calls out as I walk away toward my car. I stop and turn back to listen. You were right back then. I should have listened to you when you tried to help me. It is the closest thing to an apology I will ever get from a man like him. I nod once and keep walking toward my future. I do not need his apology to be happy or successful. I have my own life. I walk toward my office with my head held high. The Henderson project was finally completed 6 months later after all the hard work. It is a massive success, and the results are even better than we predicted in the beginning. The client is so happy that they throw a huge celebration for our entire team. Mr. Henderson stands up to give a speech to the crowd. When this project started, it was a total mess. We were about to walk away and sue. But then we met Adeline Brooks. She took a failing situation and turned it into a masterpiece of work. She is the most competent professional I have ever had the pleasure of working with in my career. I stand up to accept an award, and the room goes wild with loud applause. I look around the room and see my employees, my partners, and my friends all smiling. I realize that I have created something more than just a successful business. I have created a community where people feel safe. I have proven that you do not have to be a bully to be a successful boss. That night, as I am closing up the office for the day, Maria walks into my room. Adeline, can I talk to you for a second before you leave? I smile and invite her to sit down in the comfortable chair. Of course, Maria. What's on your mind? She looks a bit nervous but happy. I just wanted to thank you for everything you have done. I was ready to quit this industry before you came back to lead us. I thought all bosses were mean like Gregory. You showed me that it can be different. You're my hero and my inspiration. I feel a rush of warmth in my chest from her kind words. Thank you, Maria. That means more to me than any award or money. Just remember, one day you'll be sitting in this chair. Make sure you remember how it feels to be on the other side of the desk. She nods and leaves the room, and I sit in the quiet office for a long time thinking. I think about my journey. The next morning, I got a surprise visitor in my office. It is the chairman of the board of directors. He looks very pleased with the results. Adeline, the quarterly reports are today. Brooks Consulting is outperforming every other firm in the entire region. The board wants to offer you a 10-year contract extension and a seat on the National Business Council. I am honored by the offer, but I take a moment to think about what I really want. I have achieved everything I set out to do in the beginning. I have reclaimed my reputation, I have built a successful company, and I have helped my friends. I accept the offer, I say with a smile. But I have one more condition for the board. I want to start a scholarship program for young professionals who want to start their own businesses. I want to help people who are being overlooked by bad bosses. The chairman smiles and shakes my hand firmly. I think that is a wonderful idea, Adeline. You really are a leader. As the years go by, Brooks Consulting becomes a household name in the business world. We are known for our ethics and kindness as much as our great results. I become a regular speaker at business conferences all over the world, telling my story to thousands of people. I always start with the same line to get their attention. I was once fired for incompetence. It always gets a loud laugh from the crowd, but then I tell them the real truth about what happened. I tell them about the late nights, the hidden files, and the moment I realized my own value. I tell them that the biggest mistake you can ever make is believing someone else's mean opinion of you over your own truth. I see people in the audience nodding their heads, their eyes full of hope. I know that I am helping them see their own strength and power. I am living my best life every day, and I am doing it on my own terms. I am finally at peace. I am standing in my office on the 10th anniversary of the day I was fired. The room is full of flowers and cards from clients and happy employees. I look out the window at the city skyline, and I see the Brooks Consulting logo glowing on top of several tall buildings. I am a long way from that girl in the car, crying over a 5-minute firing that felt like the end of the world. I have built a legacy that will last long after I am gone from this world. I picked up a framed photo on my desk of me and my team. We are all laughing, and we look so proud of our work. I realized that this is what true competence looks like. It's not about being perfect or never making a mistake. It's about showing up, doing the hard work, and never letting anyone tell you that you are not enough. I put the photo back down and picked up my bag. I walk out into the sun, ready for the next big adventure.